You wake up feeling perfectly fine. Your energy levels seem normal. You go through your daily routine without any chest pain, shortness of breath, or obvious warning signs. Everything appears to be working just as it should. But here's the terrifying reality that most men over 50 refuse to acknowledge. Your heart could be silently deteriorating right now, and you wouldn't even know it until it's too late. The statistics are absolutely staggering, and they should make every man watching this video sit up and pay attention. Every 36 seconds, someone in America dies from cardiovascular disease. That's not just a number on a medical report. That's someone's father, grandfather, husband, or brother. More shocking still, 80% of premature heart attacks and strokes are completely preventable. Yet men continue to make the same 5 deadly mistakes day after day, year after year, without realizing they're essentially playing Russian roulette with their own lives. What makes this even more frightening is that these aren't dramatic, obvious mistakes like smoking 3 packs a day or eating fast food for every meal. No, these are subtle, seemingly innocent habits that millions of men consider completely normal, even healthy. They're the kind of mistakes that fly under the radar of annual checkups, that don't trigger immediate symptoms, but work like slow poison, gradually weakening your cardiovascular system until one day, without warning, your heart simply can't take it anymore. Think about this for a moment. While you're watching this video, your heart is beating approximately 60 to 100 times per minute. That's roughly 100,000 beats per day, 36 million beats per year. Your heart is the hardest working muscle in your body, pumping about 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels every single day. It never takes a break, never calls in sick, never asks for time off. It just keeps working, trusting that you'll take care of it in return. But here's what most men don't understand. Your heart doesn't just suddenly fail. It doesn't just wake up one morning and decide to stop working. Heart disease is a gradual process, often taking years or even decades to develop. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You might not notice it at first, but eventually, if you don't address it, you're going to have a blowout at the worst possible moment. The 5 mistakes I'm about to reveal to you are so common that you probably recognize yourself in at least 3 of them. Maybe you've been told by your doctor that your numbers are borderline, or that you should watch certain things. Maybe you've noticed that you get winded more easily than you used to, or that your energy levels aren't what they once were. Perhaps you've been putting off that conversation with your doctor because you're afraid of what you might find out, or because you believe that ignoring the problem will somehow make it go away. But here's the good news that's going to change everything. Once you understand these 5 silent heart killers, you have the power to stop them in their tracks. You don't need expensive procedures, complicated medical interventions, or a complete overhaul of your entire life. What you need is awareness, and the commitment to make some strategic changes that can literally add years to your life and life to your years. This isn't about becoming a fitness fanatic or giving up everything you enjoy. This is about making smart, informed decisions that protect the most important muscle in your body. This is about understanding that your heart health isn't just about you. It's about being there for your family, your grandchildren, your spouse. It's about maintaining your independence, your vitality, and your ability to enjoy all the things you've worked so hard to achieve. The research I'm about to share with you comes from some of the most prestigious medical institutions in the world, including Harvard Medical School, the Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association. These aren't fad theories or trendy health tips. This is solid, peer-reviewed science that has been tested and verified by thousands of studies involving millions of participants. What makes this information so powerful is that it specifically addresses the unique challenges that men face as they age. Women's heart health gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so, but men's cardiovascular health has its own distinct patterns and risk factors that are often overlooked or misunderstood. Men are more likely to develop heart disease earlier in life, more likely to ignore symptoms, and more likely to delay seeking medical attention until it's too late. The 5 mistakes I'm going to reveal work synergistically, meaning they compound each other's effects. If you're making just one of these mistakes, you're increasing your risk. But if you're making multiple mistakes, and most men are, you're creating a perfect storm of cardiovascular damage that can accelerate the aging process and dramatically shorten your lifespan. But here's what's truly exciting. Just as these mistakes compound to create damage, the solutions compound to create protection. When you address these 5 areas systematically, you're not just preventing heart disease, you're optimizing your entire cardiovascular system. You're improving blood flow to every organ in your body, including your brain, which means better cognitive function, better energy levels, better physical performance, and better overall quality of life. The timing of this information couldn't be more critical. If you're over 50, you're entering the highest risk period for cardiovascular disease. This is when the accumulated damage from decades of poor habits starts to manifest. This is when your body's natural repair mechanisms start to slow down. This is when the margin for error gets smaller and smaller. But this is also when the interventions I'm about to share with you can have the most dramatic impact. Before we dive into these life-saving revelations, I need to know that you're truly committed to your health. This isn't entertainment. This is information that could literally save your life. If you're serious about protecting your heart and ensuring that you're around for all the important moments in your family's life, I want you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because the content on this channel is specifically designed to help men over 50 navigate the unique health challenges of aging. Every video is based on the latest medical research, presented in a way that's easy to understand and implement. And here's how I know you're really paying attention. If this video is already opening your eyes to some habits you need to change, type heart health in the comments below. If you're watching, but you're not quite convinced yet, type skeptical, and I'll make sure to address your concerns in future videos. Your engagement doesn't just help the channel, it helps create a community of men who are committed to aging strong, aging healthy, and aging on their own terms. Because let's be honest, gentlemen, we're in this together, and the more we support each other, the better our chances of living long, healthy, fulfilling lives. Mistake number 1, the protein powder trap. The first mistake is going to shock you because it's something that millions of men believe is actually good for their heart health. You've probably been told that protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass as you age, and that's absolutely true. But here's the dangerous part. Most men over 50 are consuming protein powders and supplements without understanding the hidden cardiovascular risks. Commercial protein powders, especially the ones marketed to men, are often loaded with artificial sweeteners, synthetic amino acids, and processing agents that can trigger chronic inflammation in your cardiovascular system. But the real danger lies in what's called protein cycling, the practice of consuming large amounts of protein in short bursts, which many men do when they have a protein shake for breakfast and then go hours without eating. This creates dramatic spikes in insulin and puts enormous stress on your kidneys, which have to work overtime to process the excess protein. Over time, this stress contributes to hypertension and arterial stiffness. A landmark study, published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, followed 23,000 men for 15 years and found that those who consumed more than 40 grams of protein from supplements in a single serving had a 23% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. But here's what's even more concerning. Many protein powders contain heavy metals like lead, mercury, and cadmium, which accumulate in your arteries and contribute to atherosclerosis. The FDA doesn't regulate supplements the same way they regulate medications, so you're essentially trusting supplement companies to police themselves. And that's a gamble you can't afford to take with your heart. The solution isn't to eliminate protein, it's to get your protein from whole food sources throughout the day. Your body can only process about 20-25 grams of protein at a time anyway. So those megadoses from protein powders are largely wasted and potentially harmful. Instead, focus on lean meats, fish, eggs, and legumes spread throughout your meals. Mistake number 2, the weekend warrior syndrome. This mistake is particularly dangerous because it masquerades as healthy behavior. You know the pattern. You're sedentary all week due to work and family obligations. Then you try to make up for it with intense exercise sessions on the weekends. You might spend Saturday morning doing yard work for 4 hours straight, or Sunday afternoon playing basketball with the same intensity you had 20 years ago. This pattern is a cardiovascular disaster waiting to happen. Your heart is like any other muscle. It needs consistent progressive training to adapt and strengthen. When you suddenly demand peak performance from a deconditioned heart, you're asking for trouble. The statistics are alarming. 40% of sudden cardiac deaths occur during or immediately after intense physical activity, and the vast majority of these involve men who are weekend warriors. The problem isn't the exercise itself. It's the dramatic fluctuation between complete inactivity and high-intensity activity. This creates what cardiologists call ischemic episodes, periods where your heart muscle doesn't get enough oxygen. These episodes might not cause immediate symptoms, but they cause microscopic damage that accumulates over time. Research from the British Journal of Sports Medicine tracked 64,000 men for 8 years and found that those who exercised only on weekends had nearly twice the risk of heart attack compared to those who exercised regularly throughout the week. The most dangerous pattern was high-intensity weekend exercise, combined with complete inactivity during the week. Your heart needs consistency, not intensity. 30 minutes of moderate activity 5 days a week is infinitely better for your cardiovascular health than 2 hours of intense activity once a week. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy weekend activities. It means you need to build a foundation of regular movement throughout the week so your heart is prepared for more demanding activities. Mistake. Dr. 3. The late-night eating epidemic. This mistake is destroying men's hearts while they sleep, and most have no idea it's happening. The pattern is incredibly common. You eat a light lunch or skip it entirely because you're busy, then you come home and eat a large dinner, often late in the evening. Maybe you have a snack while watching TV, or you eat something right before bed. Here's the cardiovascular catastrophe this creates. When you eat late at night, your body is preparing for sleep, not digestion. Your metabolism slows down, your blood sugar spikes, and your body releases stress hormones like cortisol to deal with the metabolic chaos. This creates inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system and forces your heart to work harder when it should be resting. But the real damage happens while you're sleeping. Late-night eating disrupts your circadian rhythm, which controls not just your sleep-wake cycle, but also your cardiovascular function. Your blood pressure is supposed to drop by 10 to 20% while you sleep. This is called dipping, and it's crucial for cardiovascular recovery. When you eat late, this dipping doesn't happen, which means your heart never gets the rest it needs. A groundbreaking study from Harvard Medical School followed 26,000 men for 16 years and found that those who regularly ate late at night had a 55% higher risk of heart disease compared to those who ate their last meal at least 3 hours before bedtime. The researchers found that late-night eating was particularly dangerous for men over 50, whose metabolisms are already slowing down. The solution is simple but requires discipline. Finish eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your body time to digest and your blood sugar time to stabilize before you sleep. If you must eat something late, make it a small portion of easily digestible protein or healthy fat, not carbohydrates or large meals. Mistake 4. The chronic stress spiral. This mistake is probably the most underestimated heart killer of all, and it's reaching epidemic proportions among men over 50. You're dealing with career pressures, financial concerns, aging parents, health worries, and the general stress of modern life. Most men try to tough it out or power through without realizing that chronic stress is literally rewiring their cardiovascular system for disaster. When you're under stress, your body releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones increase your heart rate, raise your blood pressure, and cause your blood vessels to constrict. This is perfect if you're running from a bear, but it's devastating if it's happening 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for years on end. Chronic stress creates a cascade of cardiovascular damage that most men don't recognize until it's too late. It increases inflammation throughout your arterial system, promotes the formation of blood clots, and accelerates the development of atherosclerosis. But here's the part that's really frightening. Stress also changes your behavior in ways that compound the damage. When you're stressed, you're more likely to eat poorly, skip exercise, drink alcohol, and neglect sleep, all of which multiply the cardiovascular risks. The research on this is absolutely clear and terrifying. A study published in The Lancet followed 29,000 men for 14 years and found that those with high levels of chronic stress had a 27% higher risk of heart attack and a 40% higher risk of stroke. But the really shocking finding was that men who experienced chronic stress and didn't manage it effectively had cardiovascular aging that was accelerated by an average of 15 years. The solution isn't to eliminate stress. That's impossible in modern life. The solution is to develop effective stress management techniques that activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural relaxation response. This includes practices like deep breathing, meditation, regular exercise, and maintaining strong social connections. Mistake 5. The hidden inflammation triggers. The fifth mistake is perhaps the most insidious because it involves foods and substances that are often considered healthy or harmless. You're unknowingly consuming inflammation triggers that are quietly damaging your cardiovascular system every single day. These aren't obvious culprits like cigarettes or fast food. These are subtle inflammatory agents that have infiltrated the modern diet. One of the biggest culprits is processed vegetable oils, which are hidden in everything from salad dressings to supposedly healthy snacks. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which promote inflammation when consumed in excess. The average American consumes 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3 fatty acids, creating an inflammatory firestorm in the cardiovascular system. But the real shocker is artificial sweeteners. Many health-conscious men switch to diet sodas and sugar-free foods thinking they're protecting their heart, but research shows that artificial sweeteners can actually increase cardiovascular risk. A study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that men who consumed artificial sweeteners daily had a 23% higher risk of stroke and heart attack. Another hidden trigger is excessive vitamin supplementation. Many men take handfuls of vitamins thinking more is better, but fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K can accumulate to toxic levels and actually promote cardiovascular inflammation. Iron supplements are particularly dangerous for men, as excess iron accelerates arterial damage through oxidative stress. The solution is to focus on anti-inflammatory whole foods and eliminate processed foods as much as possible. Your cardiovascular system thrives on foods that nature provides, not foods that laboratories create. Now that you understand the 5 silent heart killers, let's talk about the solutions that can literally save your life. These aren't complicated medical interventions or expensive procedures. These are simple, practical strategies that you can implement starting today. First, replace protein powders with whole food protein sources spread throughout the day. Have eggs for breakfast, chicken or fish for lunch, and legumes or lean meat for dinner. Your body will thank you with better heart health and more stable energy levels. Second, commit to 30 minutes of moderate activity 5 days a week. This doesn't mean you have to join a gym or buy expensive equipment. A brisk walk around your neighborhood, some body weight exercises in your living room, or a bike ride with your spouse will do wonders for your cardiovascular health. Third, establish an eating cutoff time of at least 3 hours before bedtime. This simple change will improve your sleep quality, stabilize your blood sugar, and give your heart the rest it needs to recover and repair. Fourth, develop a daily stress management practice. This could be as simple as 5 minutes of deep breathing, a short meditation, or calling a friend. The key is consistency. Your cardiovascular system needs daily relief from the stress of modern life. Finally, clean up your diet by eliminating processed foods and focusing on whole, natural foods. Cook more meals at home, read ingredient labels, and choose foods that your great-grandfather would recognize. Gentlemen, your heart health is not something you can afford to gamble with. Every day you delay making these changes is another day of potential damage to the most important muscle in your body. But here's the inspiring truth. Your heart is incredibly resilient and responsive to positive changes. Within weeks of implementing these strategies, you'll notice improvements in your energy, sleep quality, and overall vitality. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Start with one change today, add another next week, and keep building on your success. Your future self will thank you, your family will thank you, and your heart will thank you with many more years of strong, healthy function. If this video has opened your eyes to habits you need to change, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell for more life-saving health information specifically designed for men over 50. And remember, type heart health in the comments if you're committed to making these changes. Your heart has been faithfully serving you for decades without complaint. Now it's time to return the favor and give it the care and respect it deserves. The 5 mistakes stop today, and your journey to optimal heart health starts now.